All right, cool. All right, cool. Ladies and gentlemen, my next guest is Oscar.
Hi,
He
everyone.
he is a yoga instructor in Mexico.
Yes.
He's also on a spiritual quest to just better himself. We actually met at the Joe Dispenza week-long retreat. We've been talking. He's actually a really good guy. He knows a lot about his topic. So yeah, I invited him to my podcast.
Okay. Thank
How
you
you
for
doing?
having me here. I'm great. I'm having a blast right now here at the retreat.
Okay.
Like it's this thing that everyone says when you try to explain something is like you just have to live this experience, right? So for some reason, after I started doing yoga and all this stuff, that's
Okay.
what the podcast is about. I There was this tendency of that I found that if I will do the yoga practices, magic things will happen, right?
Like what?
Like, let's say, develop a relations, psychic communication with someone,
Interesting.
maybe sometimes predicting some stuff, like you have the sensation that you know what's going to happen and then it happens.
Like
um
intuition.
Intuition, but really strong, like really really strong. Like sometimes just watching at someone and then you say like he's going to fall. Like sometimes I even ask myself if I was making it happen.
That's what I was gonna
it's
ask you.
it's so
Do you think at that point you're predicting what's going to happen, or at that point you're causing it to happen?
I'm not sure. I
Yeah,
think
I'm not sure either.
that's it's tricky question also. It's like, what was first, the egg or the chicken, right? Oh,
That's very true.
so what happened was that these things were happening a lot. Like at some
Okay.
point it got a little like common for
Uh huh.
me, but there wasn't a really scientific explanation behind, or something that I could like understand what was the steps, or what was the logic behind everything, right? So but it worked, and that was what's so amazing about it. Like one of my teachers says, just do the work,
Just do the work.
do the work,
What do you mean do the work? Like what kind of work?
do the practice. If you have to do
Like yoga practice?
meditation,
Okay.
meditate. If you have to do yoga practice, like poses and everything, you do the pose, just the practice. So
Okay.
in yoga, we, for example, usually for me it start with the yoga
What
we
do you consider yoga, by the way? Like, because people consider different things yoga. What's
so
for you? What is yoga?
so personally, or
Personally, for you, like
for
you're a yoga instructor. So for you, what
so
is
for
yoga?
me so for
Yeah.
me it's a philosophy and a way of life,
Okay.
and also a lifesaver. It was at some moment of my life. So, and also it's pretty funny how, for example, the mean of yoga in Sanskrit means union,
Union
and
between what?
between everything and
Be-
everything,
well, between you and everything.
between you and everything,
Ah, okay.
between the two sides of you, between the two kind of energies that it's on you, between everything, the universe and you, between you and I mean between everything. Because one of the first things that the philosophy, and if you read the Asian books in
Mm-hmm.
yoga, they say that the separation is the biggest illusion.
What do you mean Asian? Like Indian? Mainly
Indian.
Indian. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, okay.
I
It's
say
still
I
Asian.
said no, Sanskrit.
Sanskrit.
I
Okay.
said Asian.
Yeah.
I mean Sanskrit.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's still Asia. But still, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But it
So
came out of
I know
India.
ancient.
Ancient. Oh yeah,
Ancient.
like
Yeah.
old.
Sorry.
Okay, okay,
Old.
okay.
Pretty old. Yeah.
Got it.
So, and it's so funny because right now in this retreat, it's all about oneness,
Yeah, it's crazy,
which
dude.
means just union.
Yeah.
It's like there's no separation
So today, me and Oscar. I mean, we're in different groups, but we meditated 3 times, and it was an hour and a half each.
each time.
I don't think I've ever meditated that long in one day.
Neither do I. The
Yeah.
longer maybe was
2 hours?
2 hours,
Yeah,
maybe,
about
and it
2
was like
hours.
super long.
And it didn't feel like a long day either, especially after the third one. The way Joe Dispenza was guiding us, like there's people that having like awakenings, they're yelling involuntarily.
Also, what happened with the woman? Did you saw her?
The one that was dancing.
Yes. You know what
So
happened?
so
Did you saw her?
I saw her. I saw her.
So did you saw what was happening? Because I got late.
No,
So
no, no. Well, okay, yeah. You want me to explain to you what was
yes,
happening?
please.
So I was there talking to some people actually in the front, and this lady got up. Oh, by the way, she was in a wheelchair for the past 3 days. Her husband was there
Yeah.
helping her out. She
And
couldn't
she has,
walk
I
at all.
think, arthritis or something like that. Like she was
Like
like,
severe arthritis. She
uh-huh.
can't move her limbs or anything. And she got up and she took a step or two, and then she got weak and sat back down. And then she like went and like was thinking, and she got up, took a couple more steps, came back and sat down, and then
And
she
he's,
centered herself. I saw.
you
Yeah,
saw
I saw.
everything?
Yeah, I saw pretty much everything. I was there. So she got up the third time, and there's music playing, and she's like, and she just
She
started
just started
dancing,
dancing.
and then like other people were seeing her, and they started clapping. And I started clapping, so everyone was throwing their
You,
energy at
you
her.
know what happened? I didn't know that was happening. Because I always came back to the room like in the very last moment because I
Yeah.
like being outside too. So, but when I was walking into the room, I could feel
Yep, the energy, right?
like I was like, I don't know why I'm so happy. Like I
Hmm.
was happy because of the meditation, but as soon as I step into the room, I was like, oh my god, like there's a really nice energy, you
Yep.
know? And then for some reason I got to my place, and then I saw people like recording with their cell
Yeah,
phones.
that was me up
Uh-huh.
there.
And I was like, like, what's happening? I asked
Yeah.
to my neighbor. She was like, apparently there's this woman, and I tried to see her, but I couldn't.
So check this out. This is the weird part. So she starts dancing, and then there's this other woman there in the wheelchair.
And she also,
She saw this lady dancing, and she
no.
got up. They pushed her in the middle, and she got up and started dancing with these ladies, and they both hugged each other. It was amazing.
I think I
I was like,
saw them
whoa,
hugging
yeah,
at some point. So
yeah,
and you could see like I have some videos.
yeah,
People was getting
yeah.
so crazy, and you know something, so I don't know what happens in on the mind and in the body and everything, because before this woman told me that that was happening.
Yep.
I was walking to my place, and I remember feeling a lot of happiness, and my eyes were like I
Watery.
wanted to cry. Yeah,
That's
but
awesome.
I'm sure it was not from the meditation, because I already disconnect from that sensation.
Uh huh.
It was a strong meditation, and maybe at some point I kind of come back to that, but I was like, why am I so emotional? I'm so happy, I just want to cry. And then when she told me that, I was like in
Yeah.
tears, and I was
Really?
like, yeah,
I
like
was just shocked.
I had to like clean my, I was like, and then I run to see if I could see, but there was like a lot of people. It was so
So
crazy.
pretty much, the story, in a nutshell, is that lady was in a wheelchair the whole time. She she just couldn't walk. She couldn't really stand, and her hands were like clenched. And today, like after she was doing the meditation, she just started believing in herself. And dude, she just started dancing. She went from like being on the wheelchair to
Yeah,
dancing, and then she affected someone else.
yeah.
That's the weird part, because there's another lady like that. They were both dancing. Like what?
I feel like it's that happens. For example, what in my when I was in my group in the line where I was, so it was me and two old ladies,
Uh huh.
one on the left and one on the side.
Okay.
And in the morning, in the first meditation, we three um went get really emotional. When we wake up, the three of us, we were having like tears in our eyes.
Oh yeah, you told me about that one.
And then in the second one, we three wake up, and you could see so much peace like in the eyes and in on the face,
Mm-hmm.
And this last meditation at night, we were just like laughing like crazy, like
That's
it
it.
was like, yeah. So we think that somehow we got synchronized, or maybe that part of the line, or I don't know if all the group, or I have no idea, but for us, because we, so in the after meditations, he usually we talk a little bit
Mm-hmm.
about the experience. So when you talk and you see how similar things were happening during the meditation, it's crazy, right? How this is
Yeah, that is crazy.
contagious.
It is
Yeah,
contagious.
contagious. So
Contagious, but it's positive energy. I think. How
yes,
do you think that works? Like someone sends off energy to someone else, because in physics, that's not really possible
no,
for a human being to send it
for
to a
for
human being.
for Newtonian physics,
Newtonian physics,
not
quantum
quantum
model.
physics.
Yeah,
Yeah.
quantum model is different.
So for those who doesn't know, like a lot of, I don't know if you have talked before
Not
about
a little
quantum.
bit, not really.
So basically, other thing, I'm a yoga teacher, but I have a degree in robotics, so we do
Nice.
a lot of physics and
So
stuff.
you're an engineer.
So yeah, so my mind is pretty logical, and it's really one of the things that was hard for me when I started doing yoga and everything was my mind was Newtonian, 100% Newtonian.
Uh huh.
Everything that I've done for maybe for my first 20 21 or 22 years, it was really Newtonian. Work, study, understand, everything, even the way you calculate things is based in Newton's theories, And then when I started like having these experiences because of the yoga practice I was doing, I was like, okay, this should not be possible, but it was happening. So I was like, why is it happening? And then everything started from there, That's how my path into yoga started, because I was looking for answers of these experiences that have not apparently a logic
A
explanation.
logical
It
explanation.
was
Yeah.
I was like, is it magic? Is it like
There's an explanation. Joe Dispenza explains it pretty well.
and then yeah, so when I was doing yoga, like I was really reading a lot of yoga. In yoga, it's they kind of explain it to you, but not in a scientific way. It's more like
In a
it's like,
spiritual way, like you have to believe
yes,
it and it will happen.
you don't really need to believe it.
You don't need to believe
No,
it. You just need to practice it.
that's the magic of yoga.
But here's the thing: if you don't believe it, how are you really gonna practice it every day?
I'm gonna tell you one of the things more amazing that I have saw as a yoga teacher. Maybe it was September or
Last year?
October last year. Yeah, I was in no September, like the first days of September. I was living in Loreto in Mexico. It's a beautiful beach, and I used to work in a hotel as a yoga teacher, right?
Okay.
So in the last weeks, because I quit my job for some reasons that it doesn't have anything to do with the podcast, I
Okay.
I I had some friends, and they really wanted me to give them a class, right?
Yeah.
So we made a date and we did the class. So I saw this friend. Her name is I don't remember her name, but and she was struggling a little, even the class was really
Basic.
basic. She
Uh-huh.
was kind of struggling, like trying too hard.
Okay.
And in yoga we say that the way you practice, like the way you are in the mat on the mat, is the way you are on life. It's just a reflection, and it's so true. So I saw how she was doing a super big effort. Even if I told them like, just do what you can,
Right.
try
Right.
to find the
So she was
pose that
trying way too hard.
way too hard, like
Okay.
pushing her too far, right? And that's okay, but as everything, you have to find a balance.
Right.
Not push too hard, but either just
Yeah.
relax all the class,
Got it.
When the class ends, we were doing the shavasana, which is a relaxation lay down,
Mhm.
and there's a technique called Yoga Nidra, which I think is similar to the meditation that we're going to do lay down in the last day.
Okay.
And I was doing this technique, like guiding them, and I have quartz bowl,
Mm-hmm.
the one
Like
that
sound
makes
bowl?
sound, a sound bowl, yeah,
Sound
so
bowl,
kind
like
of a sound healing, yeah.
Yeah. I did a
S-
class on that.
And in this one, it's synchronized to the heart chakra,
The fourth
or
chakra,
the fourth chakra,
the energy center
the
the
four
heart.
energy centers,
Got it.
where that we call in this Joy Dispensa's
Retreat.
retreat,
Yeah.
the center of energy that is in the chest of the
Okay.
chest, right? And then at some point, I start playing it. They were super relaxed, and I start playing it, and she start crying, like
Really?
I thought that something bite him, or like a snake or something, because she start crying so so
So it hit
so.
her in the heart.
Yeah, and
Did she have
like maybe for 15 seconds, and then she just said,
Really?
and she didn't move. And then I start calling them back, like, a little bit like Joy Dispenza does, like, try to come back to your body,
Yeah.
feel, your fingers, blah, blah. And when she woke up, I asked them, like, how was it? And she said, I start feeling a lot of heat, like in this part of my body. And then I feel like I was crying. That's what she said, just like your friend, that he said
Yeah.
someone was screaming.
That wasn't my friend. That was
The guy that was next to you
Yeah.
this morning. So she told me, and we all, like, because the other two girls, they didn't get so deep, so they both, like, just look at her and they say, dude, you cried like a lot.
Uh-huh.
And when she was crying, this thing that we talk about, the synchronicity, I start also, like, crying so much, because
Just out of the blue.
everything, I don't
Yeah.
know if the other two girls, they cry, but I cried so much. So, And then after the session, we went to have dinner, and then she kind of talked a little bit about her story, and and she said, "I'm always trying so hard because I have always been responsible for my father,
Okay. Okay.
because he has some personal troubles and blah blah." And she told us like, this, I needed this, I feel so lighter, and I feel like,
Like you got something off your chest.
yes,
Okay. Okay.
like
Got it.
I think her heart actually opened,
That's
at that
awesome.
very moment.
So I interviewed someone else that does sound bowls. So
Really.
yeah, so apparently when you do sound bowls, you're like fine tuning the chakra.
Hmm.
You're like trying to fix it in a sense.
Actually, when you have you done a therapy?
Yeah, there are
Yeah,
plenty of them. Yeah.
I've been maybe in two, because I do, but I don't have all of them. I just have
Yeah.
three,
Yeah. This guy has 8.
Mm,
The one that does it.
8 or 7.
Yeah.
It depends of the on the current, but what I felt the first time I tried it, like in a long, like maybe 2 hours,
Okay.
it was a huge group. You feel like how something moved from one side to the other.
Really?
That happened to me. Like I used to do a lot of yoga, so for some of the centers, I really feel like they were like not so like here,
Okay.
maybe
Okay.
here or here. But I remember, I think it was the third one. I feel like someone was pulling me like this, like a
Someone was
lot,
pulling you?
like something, I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, but just in this one, which is the yellow one.
Mine's the third one.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and then after the this ends, I feel like it was more than to the other, and then somehow it start like getting
It
to the
fixing itself?
center a little.
Okay.
So that's magic. And also, I don't know if it happens to everyone, but for me, vibrations from music, it's really
Yeah, yeah.
helpful.
Like yesterday, when we were doing our meditation, you drink water too if you want.
Yes.
So when we were doing our meditations yesterday, like I started really listening to the music and my hands started shaking, my legs started shaking,
Your
like
body start
involuntarily. Yeah,
moving
that's
like
that's
with
never
the
happened to me
music.
before.
Yeah.
That was like during deep meditation that they put us into, which is really interesting.
I think the music is really important to get to that kind of states of consciousness, because in this technique that I told you called Yoga Nidra,
Yoga Nidra.
we also use an special kind of music, which is, I don't remember if Joy Dispenza used the same term, but it's called Solfegio Harmonics,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like this some.
Is it like binary tunes, like for your brain?
No, I think they're a little different from binary. So
Okay.
solfeggio harmonics have to do with vibration, and each chakra vibrates in different
Right.
scale, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they have done this. I don't really remember where the solfeggio harmonics come from, but each of them have a different effect, right? So
Right.
some, maybe one is for like like is like to not have more fear anymore, then the other is called DNA repair, and things like that, each one is really different. And and usually when we do the yoga nidra, we put that kind of music, so that I think it's like here in the meditation, because I think it makes it's easier for people to get into this kind of test when the music is like helping you,
Right.
you know
Got
so
it. Cool.
that's what I like about it, because I see so many things that are similar to the yoga tradition.
Perfect. Well, you come from yeah, yeah. It makes it easier for you
Hmm.
you're from a yoga tradition. What do you think of like samadhi? Like so, samadhi, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who don't know, it's like when you reach a trance state through yoga. Very few people. You have to be very experienced, or maybe sometimes people get lucky.
I think some people got samadhi here,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like
They start tripping out.
yeah, like they pop.
Yeah, they definitely pop. Like that just means you just reach divinity in a sense, or you reach like a altered state of consciousness.
That's super interesting, because actually there is so the yoga, it's based, the yoga that we know, like the yoga that you go to your yoga studio, most of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
times it's not really the true yoga, or the
It's like watered down yoga, or is it just like more for exercise?
more for exercise.
Okay.
But if you find a good teacher who try to follow a line of teachers and of gurus, because he's not a teacher, he's a really a master, yoga master, it's a guru.
Yeah.
So if you find some, if you're lucky enough, because then it's really hard to find that teacher that is like your teacher and you're his or her student, you know.
Okay, got it. Like follower in a sense. Got
Yeah.
it.
So when you find these kind of things, they explained that the yoga, the true yoga, is based on um, it's like books that were writing on
Sanskrit, you said.
Sanskrit, but they were writing in leaves, in banana leaves,
Okay.
in Asian
Ancient
Asian
time. Yeah.
India, yeah. And they talk they talk about different stuff, you know, but they talk more like in a poetic way. So you need someone to like read the poem, and if they have already been there,
Uh
they
huh.
can like decode. You know, it's a little like what Joy Dispenza say today. I think they got there and they just download the information and they just write it the way they could. And then when you find a teacher that can explain to you,
Right.
they explain to you. So I wrote this book. The Yoga Sutras are like 50, and each one is like this long, you know.
Holy shit.
And they're like 50. There's not a lot. But I read
So
a book
there's
there I read a book this
that.
big.
So like 200 pages, 300 pages.
So for each Yoga Sutra, maybe
Okay.
2 pages of explanation, you know.
Ah, okay.
And sometimes there's a part where they talk about Samadhi. So Samadhi is in yoga, in the traditional yoga, we say there is 8 limbs
Right,
or
right. I
eight
read about
steps
that.
of yoga, right?
Hmm.
It's like an easy way to look at it, it's called the tree of yoga. So the roots are the yamas and niyamas, which are moral and ethics rules, right?
Okay.
Then you have the trunk, which is the asana, the position of the body, the awareness of where your body is, to know that you're not seated like this, but
Yeah.
like this, you know.
Yeah.
That's asana, or that's why the yoga that we do, the exercise that we do, start at the beginning to be aware of how your body is. Why
Yeah.
is that? Because Joyce also talked a little about it. You need to have the spine, or for some reason the spine, if it's really straight, it's easy for you to get all these sensations, you know, at the beginning.
Got
And
it.
then, you know, then like here, sometimes your body start doing weird stuff.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
at the beginning, one of the teachers say is like a light that, like
Tunnel.
in a tunnel. And if the tunnel is like this,
Uh huh.
the light will not cross. But if the tunnel is straight, the light will get from the bottom
Okay.
up, right?
That's why.
And
That's why you
then
should keep your spine straight.
yeah,
Okay,
and then
got
we
it.
have pranayama, which is breathing work. That actually means, pranayama means energy expansion.
Okay.
The pranayama is similar to the breathing exercise we do, you know,
Yeah.
with the muscles here. And then we have the three last, no, the pratyahara, which means to shut down the senses, the
To shut
sensory,
down the
to shut down
senses,
the senses. So that's
like
the
external senses.
external senses.
So just be
Just be inside, you
Okay,
know.
got it. Got it.
And then we have the 6, the 7, and the 8, which is dharana, dhyana, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi.
Samadhi.
Yeah, and those are like dhyana. It's, I always mix these two, but the 7th, the 6th is to pay attention in just one thing. The next one is to keep the attention for a long period of time, and then the samadhi, it's when you're not anymore separated from the object that you have the attention on, right?
Is that why in yoga they always say one verse a lot, like over and over?
It's an hypnosis that
Ah, okay, okay,
you're
okay,
trying
okay.
to get into trance to keep the attention in the same thing.
Ah, okay, okay, got it.
Sometimes in some movies you can see they put candles,
Yeah,
and you stare at the candle, and at some point, you know, it happens. So it depends a lot of everyone is different. So for
yeah.
some people,
For me, music really
mhm.
helps a lot.
And then in samadhi, there's a huge chapter just about samadhi. You actually have different kind of samadhis,
Really, like
like
psychedelic,
four
mystical.
levels, like four
Really?
levels. It's crazy. It's like, so for example, I remember there's a samadhi where you see light beings, like, I don't know if angels or something like that.
Okay,
And
or
the teacher
aliens?
says, if you see that, that's okay, but do not think this is the real samadhi. This is just like
The basic
the
level?
basic
Really?
something like that. Yeah. So
Okay.
because in yoga you're always like, they always say like, don't get stuck with the body. This is just for with the positions, you know,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
then
yeah.
because if you think this is yoga, you're gonna get stuck there.
Ah,
And then
okay.
if you think breath work is yoga, you're going to get stuck there. If you think the first samadhi is the true samadhi, you're going to get stuck there. So it's a little bit like what Joe said today. There's always more, and if you push a little further,
Yeah.
apparently there's something else. And
Got it.
then I think if you get to that point, maybe you're like Joe Dispenza or like some other
So
gurus who are enlightened,
you're a
you know.
yogi at that point?
I think everyone, no, I don't think you need to get there to be a yogi.
Okay.
You can,
So, but you said there's 4 levels. Number 1 is the aliens. What's number 2?
I don't really remember them, but I remember this one. It's not aliens, light beings.
Light beings. Well, I mean, you could presume as
it's
aliens.
it's actually it
I
actually
think it is aliens
yeah.
because they're higher beings, probably.
Yeah, last night
Yeah.
I saw like these white people, huge people, and I thought someone was walking. Like it was super weird, but I got a little scared at the beginning, and I feel like there was 3 people around me, and I was like, okay, maybe someone just fell or something from the
Uh huh.
chair or something like that, and they're helping him. And then for some reason I got relaxed, and they were start like interacting with me, like I was like in this trance, and then I feel like they
While
were,
you're meditating,
yeah, at the very, you know,
the
that
very
meditation, the whole meditation, I was really unfocused, like really, really, people screaming, and you know, and I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
and then at the very end, I was like already laid down and was like, okay, this one wasn't that good, but you know, and I just relaxed, and maybe it happened in the last, I don't know, 5 minutes,
Okay,
and it was so weird because I feel like they were um like I already knew them,
that's
like
interesting.
old friends, or like
The most unfamiliar, familiar thing
the
that's
most,
happened to me.
yeah, it.
Ooh.
So I, and you know something, something that I struggle with, maybe not this week, but because I have a lot of this sensation, is that I've been living in a lot of different countries since I'm a kid, so I
Right.
don't really know where's home, or I don't know, when people
Uh.
told me like, where are you from, I'm like, you know, I don't really like that question so much
Yeah.
because it's a long thing to
Yeah.
explain
Yeah.
and blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah.
I don't like that question either. Because I'm from Armenia. I grew up in Los Angeles. I live in Utah. I
So
travel all the time. Like, I don't know how to answer that question.
exactly, so
We're,
for me, I've lived in 6 different countries in my
okay.
life, in like 15 different cities. So you know,
Woo.
it's I mean, it's the longest I've been in the same place is maybe 7 years,
Okay.
7 years, and not in a row. I skip it for 1 year when I was in France on exchange. So the thing is that when I have always struggled with this sensation of where is home,
Okay.
and in this meditation where I saw this, maybe I'm an alien or I have no idea, but when I see all these light beings, I I I feel like they say like, oh, you're back, you know, you're finally back, you
You're
know.
finally
Yeah,
back?
I feel like they were telling me, and then I feel like they were sending like light on me, like doing some kind of scanning with some
Really?
weird thing. Yeah, it was so crazy.
Really?
You're the only one that I have tilted because I think it's kind of too
Yeah, it is.
crazy, but I think
Well,
it worth it to say it here, right?
yeah. If you're being okay, if you're saying that, I heard someone say a word right in front of my face. I didn't understand what the word was.
A word?
Yeah, one word.
You saw it while
No, no,
meditating?
I was. Yeah, I heard it like at the very end,
Okay.
like right in front of my face, like that. You know how like we're talking right now,
Yeah, like a
closer than
lot
that.
of
Yeah, I didn't know what the word was, but I was like, okay, maybe someone's just there or something like that. I didn't open my eyes, but it was weird.
yeah. So
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 weird things happen when you're meditating, when you
inter
get into trance states and
yeah.
things like that. Nothing else happened. I didn't see anything. I didn't feel anything. I just heard someone say a word. I don't know what it was.
But I think it has to do also. I mean, I've been doing yoga and meditation, yoga for 6 years, on and off the first two, and
Yeah.
then like super serious, and then meditation for almost 3 years now.
Mhm.
So I have already some. You know what Joey says is so true, because at the beginning I thought like maybe if you once you were awake, everything feels like not so incredible,
Yeah.
but it's because you don't trying to reach the next level, like here that everyone is having all these crazy experience and amazing experiences and emotions and sensations. But yes, for me it was, I think, it's the one of the weirdest thing that happened like last
With
day.
with the aliens.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
last.
call them aliens.
You what?
I'm gonna call them aliens.
Yeah.
With the aliens that were scanning you
And
yesterday. You didn't tell me this yesterday.
no, because I was like maybe people will say I'm getting
No,
crazy. I don't know.
I saw a guy yell next to me,
I
and
know.
when we're meditating. So what happens is apparently when you're trying to just really like release your chakra or your energy centers, like you
Which
have
is
an
somewhere here.
involuntary like you're kind of having a seizure involuntarily, and you scream. So there was a person meditating right next to me, and they just started screaming at the top of their voice, and it terrified me. So I turned around and looked, and they're on the ground, just moving around as if they're having a seizure.
Hmm.
And then I asked him afterwards how it was. He was like, the guy was kind of in tears. He's like, man, did you hear that lady yell? I was like, bro, you're the one that yelled.
So a little like what happened with my
Yeah,
friend.
yeah,
She was like, "Oh, I feel like I wanted to cry, dude. You cried like She
yeah,
cried so hard.
yeah.
So I know. I mean, now that it's day two, I can see that it's not so weird.
Day three. It's
Day
actually day three.
day three. So
Yeah,
yeah, I'm kind of lost
yeah.
in time.
And here's another thing that's weird. When we started the first day, me and you met, and we're cool. But the whole room, there's about 1,500 people. It was like not flowing. People weren't really like comfortable with each other. Day two, yesterday,
It got better,
it got
right?
way better. People were really comfortable, and today everyone feels like they're family.
Yeah, everyone is like
They're
like
like synced.
I
They're
woke up
synced.
in the first meditation when we were all crying. I woke up and the lady to my right, she told me like, I feel like I want to hug you. Can I hug you? And I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, please hug me. I was so emotional. So it's like
What do you think that's from, though? Is it just because everyone's opening up their heart, or everyone's just trying to meditate and they're just trying to like
connect.
connect? They're on the same brainwaves.
I have no idea because I mean I don't. It's not like I want to hug everyone.
Yeah, yeah. But at that moment, you felt very
I don't know.
lovely
You
or
know.
loving.
Yeah. I mean I feel like I was. You know what I feel? I feel like I'm huge. Like my body is not this size, but bigger. Like
Maybe that's your aura.
I have no idea. And also, it's funny that you asked that because in this before the meditation of today, before lunch, it also went like kind of not so cool at the beginning.
Yeah.
And at the very end, I remember so weird. I remember this like I saw this like crystals, weird crystals, and then at some point I realized that it was the roof. I was watching a castle from the sky
Really?
made out of crystal.
A castle from the sky
a,
made
a,
out of
a
crystals?
beautiful castle, and it was like, oh, this is where I live. I don't know why I felt that, but
Why not?
and
Hey.
then yeah, and it was like I was kind of a prince or something. I don't know.
Whoa.
So at some point I was there, and then I remember feeling like we're all here. I feel like,
We're all there?
yeah, I was like, we're all here finally. We finally got like all together here. Like I don't know if it was my family, but I feel like we're all here in the castle. In the
That's awesome.
so maybe it's something that happens when you start getting into these states, like unconsciously your mind want to be one
Yeah, yeah.
with the person next to the
Yeah,
others. So
that makes
what's
sense.
what's the closest physical thing out of sex that you can do with someone when you want to feel really close?
I guess breathing techniques maybe?
Or hugging.
Or hugging. Yeah, yes, yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
body with body. There's no
yeah,
space. There's no space.
yeah. And when you put two people together, like that, when they're together long enough, their breathing starts becoming the same too.
Yes, I
Yeah.
I saw that
You
too.
saw that in yoga?
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Actually, in yoga, there's a lot of, we talked also a lot of, for example, when we have a huge group,
Someone comes that doesn't have the same energy or the
yeah,
same vibe.
you
They have
can,
a bad energy to
yeah,
them.
you can feel how they don't feel comfortable, and maybe
They
they
just
just
leave. They're
come,
like,
yeah,
ah,
maybe they
that's not
come
for
for
me.
1 or 2 classes. Maybe they just want to look for a different teacher,
So,
and that's
ladies
okay.
and gentlemen, when you go to yoga class, stop being a princess and
Yes.
just be just be nice to everyone.
Yeah, and then one of my teachers says that the energy of the class is,
Okay.
it's how do you say, like,
Explain it.
like the group, like the energy is for everyone,
Yeah.
like communal,
Yeah. Community.
yeah, like
Common. Or community.
we share the energy.
It's okay. Centered or synced. Synchronicity.
No, so we say the experience it's personal,
Right.
but the energy is
Communicative.
communicative. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Got it. Communicative.
so some classes,
Community. Yeah. You're right.
so some classes you can actually
Little up. All right. Good.
you can
Yeah.
actually feel how everyone it's like so synchronized, you know. And sometimes it happens to me sometimes that I don't even have to say the full instruction, and they already doing it at the same time, you know. It's like,
Really?
and actually in Dharma Yoga, which is one of the styles of yoga that I teach and that I am certified into, something I like. I don't know if Dharma Mitra, who is the guru, he does it in his studio because I haven't gone. But my teacher, she put us in a way that we're facing each other.
Interesting.
Yeah. So she's in the middle. Like let's say she is here on the table, and then the mats are here and here and here and here, and then another line, you know.
Right.
And she says like, for example, when we're doing balances, like equilibrium positions, she says like, balance yourself, like look at the other and help him and let him help you, you know, even if you're not actually in a distance to physically help you.
There's like 4 feet between you.
It's so crazy how sometimes if you really get connected, or if you really get like on the moment, like here, you start doing more physical stuff, you know. And maybe by yourself it will not happen, but it happens because you're in the group, you know, and the energy is it's so strong. I think it's similar to what happened here. I mean, we're 1,500 people,
and we're also there for 14 hours a day.
Yeah,
that's connecting.
And you know, I think that's crazy how, for me, it's so funny because each meditation, I'm like, okay, this is not getting any better. I mean, this is incredible. I don't think it's going to get better. And then the next day is like,
it gets better. Yeah, but your mind is syncing with other people's. And plus, after, I think everyone just got happier during the last meditation. After that lady started walking, I was like, what the hell is going on? Hey, what is this lady doing?
Yeah.
Well, she took like a step or two, and then she sat down, and then a couple more. I was like, whoa. And she started dancing. Like, hey, what happened to your carpal tunnel?
Everyone was celebrating. It's like, you know, you know what happened at that moment when I knew what was happening.
Yeah.
And I was crying and everything. I thought about my grandmother. Like this,
awesome.
you know. So I think maybe somehow we do this unconsciously. We project these things like
I wish I could do this for my grandmother.
Yeah, like maybe I wish my grandmother can come here and maybe heal her knees.
Or maybe you could go and heal her. Ooh.
Or maybe what?
You can go and heal her.
We'll see. I'm not sure if I can do that, but
anything's possible, man.
But everything,
you saw aliens and the crystal.
Exactly. So right now I'm open to possibilities.
Anything, dude. Why would you limit yourself to any possibilities?
Yes.
Seriously. Dude.
Also, you know something. People have told me before that I'm kind of a healer. Like
that's awesome.
Like last year, last year, my dad almost died because he got COVID and he got super bad. He got intubated for 10 days.
Wow.
After he got out of the intubation, I remember I was doing a Buddhist meditation. I'm not Buddhist at all. I mean, I don't really have a religion.
Okay.
I think in all this amazing universal energy and love and everything, but I don't have like a
right.
I think that the closer to a religion that is not a religion for me is yoga, because it's more a philosophy or like a path, a guide of how to live, right? So one of my friends who is a Buddhist, I told to her, like, I thought my dad was dying already because he was starting to have this how do you call when the souls start going out from the body?
Out of body experience?
Yeah, he started having. The last night I saw him in the hospital before he got intubated, he wake up at some point because he was super high because they put morphine, a lot of morphine on him because he couldn't sleep. He was so afraid that he couldn't sleep. You know, the stress, the run and hide response that
the
Joe
fight
talks
or flight.
about. Fight or flight.
Yeah.
So he told, at some point he woke up and he told me like, you know, I feel like when I can, I can't sleep, but for me to try to sleep, I imagine that I'm like floating all up to the universe.
Really?
And there's in Buddhism, there's this theory of it's called the death of the book of the death, and they talk about the stages of death. And the first stage is that very one. You start having this
Out of body
sensation of,
experience.
yeah,
Like, don't go to the light, Dad. Come back.
exactly.
Come
So
back.
yeah, come back, just like like what he said. So when it was like maybe the last 2 hours,
Okay.
and when I listened to him, I remember I start crying. I was like, okay, maybe this is it, you know. And I was kind of prepared for. I was like, okay, I know,
Yeah, but it's your dad,
life
dude.
ends, and I was
Yeah,
super sad, but
but still.
I was kind of sad about it, and was like, if this is his time, I'm gonna just accept it and just send him all the love I can, you know. And so I went to teach something that I didn't stop doing this day. I mean, I stopped went into job and everything because we have to take care of my dad in the
Yeah.
hospital because there
Right,
were
right,
not
right.
enough people. So they allowed us to go inside one person per time. So we were
Okay,
doing
one
like
at a time. Yeah,
we
yeah.
were doing like
Shifts.
like shifts, you know. So I was super tired and all this. So
Okay.
but I never stopped
Doing
teaching
yoga?
yoga. No,
Awesome.
not doing. I stopped my practice. I did meditate,
Okay.
but not physical practice because my body was super tired. But I needed meditation to keep calm a
Got it.
little bit in all this crazy thing.
Okay.
So in one of the classes, I have this student who is also a yoga teacher. She's a friend, and she's Buddhist. And I told him like, hey, you know, I read this book and they talk about this. She knows it. And my dad, last night he was in this stage,
Mm-hmm.
and they have this in this book. They teach you how to meditate for the people who have chronic diseases
Mm-hmm.
to help them transcend,
Okay.
to help them reborn in a better existence, right?
To leave.
Or a better life, or a better body, or a better
And
reality.
that's in Buddhism.
That's in the Buddhism book. And I asked her, you know how to do this? And she was like, why? Who is dying or what? And I told her, you know, she knew that my father was really
Yeah.
my father, and she was like, no, 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 no. You don't have to do that because then you're gonna help him to go there,
Yeah.
and if he has COVID, there's another way that maybe you can help him. And then she sent me a long meditation. It was like 1 hour and a half meditation. It's called the Buddha of Medicine meditation,
Okay.
medicine's Buddha meditation. And I did it every day, and in the morning
Uh-huh.
and in the at night,
Okay.
every day. And and then when he wake up, he told me, you know, the second thing, the first thing that he said to my mom was, he looked at her eyes, and she said like, I thought I will never see you again. That was the
Whoa.
first thing.
That's
And
awesome.
the second thing, because he was still super high because of the
Yeah.
morphine, that he said, because my mom told me, was, Oscar saved me.
Wow.
And you know,
Really?
yeah, and it's crazy because my father and I, we have
It's not
never,
like he said it to you.
no,
Your mom told
my
you.
mom told me.
Wow.
And then it's crazy because my father and I, we have never been really close.
Mm-hmm.
We actually have kind of hard relation. I mean, right now it's not so hard, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get it.
it's always like complicated. So it's so crazy that out of all the people in my family, it happened. So I think it was some and I remember one night I was super into the meditation,
Mm-hmm.
and I sweat a lot, and the windows of my bedroom got
Foggy.
foggy, and
Whoa.
it was winter.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So and when he wake up, I remember when he was already out of the intubation and everything,
Okay.
he was here. His the feet were super dry
Uh-huh.
because he didn't drink anything, so they were like almost like
Crusty, kind of.
frosty.
Yeah.
So the first time I got to see him at the hospital after he got out of intubation, I told him, your feet are super dry. I'm gonna ask someone to get some cream
Yeah.
and some moisture cream, and I start like giving him a massage in like maybe 30 minutes, you know, and I can feel how the skin start like absorbing
Yeah, yeah.
everything. And then I left, and a friend of my dad went visiting him, and he told me some days after that that my father told him that when I was giving him the massage,
Uh-huh.
he feel like I was healing him, you know.
Wow.
Like he feel like, because he's still a little
Yeah,
drug.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So he said like, I feel like when he touched me, when he giving the massage, I can feel like
His energy.
I'm feeling better. Yeah.
That's
So
awesome. Good. Good.
I have
Good.
no
That's awesome.
idea. I think maybe it's a
I don't think it's a
it's a
coincidence.
possibility.
It's definitely a possibility.
Yes,
There's anything's possible.
I
But
agree
yeah,
with
hey,
you.
dude. But I think even your positive energy just definitely helped your dad. That's awesome. But your dad's okay now.
Yeah, I mean, he still has a really small
But he's out of the hospital. He's doing fine.
yeah, he's doing a fine. I
Okay,
mean,
cool.
he has a little, like, he got a little tired. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, I get it.
he's
He's old. Yeah,
old, but before the COVID, he was like one piece. He could
yeah.
like do everything.
Hey, he could get back there. No problem.
What?
He could get back, to 100%, even if
Yeah,
he's at 95% right
he's
now.
like 95 or something like
That's
that.
good. So one last question before we
Mhm.
end this. I always ask people, what advice would you have for people so they could better their lives? Like if one thing they could change about their life.
So they can better the life.
Yeah, just better their life. Like maybe it's their health or maybe they're just sad or unhappy. What do you think it could be? Just one thing they could do yoga.
I when I start doing yoga,
Yeah.
I will, and I start feeling the benefits of it in my life, in my
Uh-huh.
emotions, in everything. I want to wrap everyone to the class,
That's
like,
awesome. You still want to do that?
no, because now I understand what that the people, when the people is ready,
They will come.
they will come.
It's like if you build it, they will come.
If you push,
Yeah.
it will
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
make them go far. So
That's how I feel about meditation because I always encourage people to meditate. And I think it's the best. And like
no one understands. So
no one understands until they do it for a while.
but sometimes you're lucky enough to find someone who is curious.
Yeah.
And then, as a teacher, I've been super lucky because I have met like maybe three people who, they told me like, my life is changing thanks that I took a class with you, and that I learned some stuff with you. And maybe I'm not like their guide or the teacher right now, but the first push, or the first thing they connect with, somehow was in my class, or while we were doing some kind of these things. So if you find someone who is really curious about it,
Yeah.
it's really, really good luck.
Cool. Got
And
it.
just if you're already, I think if you're already listening to this, you're already curious.
Yep.
And I will say that if you are already curious about if there's something else,
Just contact me, dude.
if
I'll help
this
you
is
out.
magic, if this is science, is
Yeah.
this am I getting crazy? I will say just try everything, and
Yeah.
just try to be
Just go with it with an open mind.
open.
Just be
Dharma,
curious, but have an open mind at the same time.
Dharma Mitra, our guru, have this sentence that it's once you have it like in your heart, and you actually understand it, not just in the mind but here. He says, be receptive.
Be receptive.
Just
Got it.
the world have a lot to offer you, but
Yeah.
we usually
Yeah.
we're closed. So just open yourself to possibilities and be receptive, and
Perfect.
they'll get you.
That's a perfect way to end
Okay.
this. Right on, brother. Thank you.
Thank you
I
so much
appreciate
for
it, man.
having me
Yeah,
here.
dude. Thanks. Thanks.